Okay, hello everybody. My name's Jameson Young. I'm sitting here with Jameson Young.
Hello.
We have a couple stories for you today. One is about the passing of John Havlicek. I'm going to read this little article. John Havlicek, who won 8 world championships as a player with the Boston Celtics, has died at age 79 in Jupiter, Florida. Havlicek, originally from Bridgeport, Connecticut, played college basketball for Ohio State, winning a national title in 1960. He was selected by the Boston Celtics in the first round of the 1962 NBA draft. He played 16 seasons and 13 All-Star games, plus winning 8 titles. He was named MVP of the NBA Finals in 1974 when the Celtics beat the Milwaukee Bucks. 41 years after his retirement in 1978, Havlicek remains the all-time leading scorer of the Celtics franchise history. He finished his 16-year career, 26,000 points, 26,395 points. So I always like NBA basketball. Kind of sad and too bad that an all-time great like Havlicek has passed away, but lots of guys on Twitter, and including Bill Russell himself, has been commentating in. Any thoughts? Yeah, I'm actually pretty amazed about this guy. I mean, obviously I've heard of him, but obviously also when you're hearing about Boston Celtics glory, it's always either Bill Russell or Larry Bird. Well, this guy scored more points than anybody in Boston Celtics history, including Bill Russell. And he scored, and he had just as many All-Star appearances as Larry Bird did seasons, and he had one more All-Star appearance than Larry Bird did. So he seems to be and he also scored 2 titles without Bill Russell. So he seems to be very underrated. Kind of like Larry Holmes, great boxer, but sandwiched between the Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. I think that's a pretty good analogy. Plus, I think when it comes to like NBA players prior to the modern era, prior to the Magic Bird era, we kind of downplay how good they are sometimes. Is it right that players in the pre-modern era get downplayed like that? I mean, both yes and no, because obviously, I think Wilt Chamberlain had like a season where he averaged 50 points, 25 rebounds. Obviously, he wouldn't be able to do that in the modern NBA, but at the same time, you look at guys like Kareem, this guy, he in his 1975, John Havlicek in his 1974 Finals MVP, he won that over Kareem. Kareem was playing back then, and then fast forward 15 years, Kareem, when he was like pushing 40 years old, was going up against all the prime dream teamers like Jordan and Patrick Ewing and all those guys, and he was still holding his own. So yeah, for some people, I think sometimes they get downplayed, sometimes not. Not sure. Yeah. Plus, also on top of being a great basketball player, seemed like everybody who met him said he seemed like a really good guy. This next article is about a World War II veteran. Hundreds turned out Friday to honor a decorated World War II veteran, Marine, in New York after a young friend ensured the 97-year-old's life and death would not go unrecognized. Bob Graham had no living relatives when he died April 12th, north of New York City. Beth Rogan, 27, befriended Graham 4 years ago at his nursing home. Concerned that Graham's funeral would be sparsely attended, she decided to go out of her way to make sure he had a funeral befitting of a hero. Despite drizzly weather, hundreds of veterans, fire responders, and others showed up to celebrate the life well lived. Officials temporarily closed the nearby highway, accommodating the funeral processions and the police escort. Firefighters hung a huge American flag, while a police honor guard carried the Graham's casket to the church. As the American flag was draped over his casket, it was folded carefully by a Marine in a dress uniform and presented to Reagan. Reagan said strangers were approaching, offering condolences. Many were crying and they didn't even know him. Graham earned Bronze Battle Star and Silver Stars for his service in the Pacific. He fought in several islands, including Guadalcanal. His wife, Rosie, died 2 years ago. Yeah, I think this is a really good story. We did another story about a Vietnam veteran in Nebraska where this kind of happened to. Had no family, and I think for that one, like thousands of people showed up for his funeral. But it's a great story, and also I know that this is what happens to generations. They grow old and die. I get it, but it's still sad for me to see like the World War II generation or the greatest generation leave, because like I grew up in a small town in Nebraska, and I think small towns kind of have aging populations, plus everybody. So like when I was a kid, all those 70-year-old guys were all World War II veterans, and I'd say that nobody had more of a put more of an influence on me than those guys. I went into the military because that's how I wanted to be, I guess, is what I'm saying. Yeah, I would probably say they like brainwashed me in a good way. Yeah, I guess that's true. Brainwashing in a good way, because like at the end of high school, it was kind of weird for me to hear, boys talk about wanting to go to college or taking the ACTs or something. I just thought once you got to a certain age, 18, 19, you go join the military, period. So yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. Brainwashing in a good way is what the greatest generation did for me. Yeah, anyway, Bob Graham and John Havlicek. Both seemed like really good guys and did a lot for their Bob Graham for the military and John Havlicek for the Boston Celtics. We wish them well. This is our YouTube channel, Self-Conflicted. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.